The following podcast is a part of RadioMisfits.com. And now it's time for the Mr. Nailsin Show.
Whistleblower claims CIA used DNA data from Ancestry and 23andMe customers in search for aliens. Is this true? Perhaps, but maybe not. Apparently, the government isn't disclosing everything it knows about UFOs. A whistleblower has accused the CIA of attempting to use sites like 23andMe and Ancestry.com to uncover people with extraterrestrial DNA in their makeup. The CIA wants to hunt them down, said philosopher and novelist Jason Reza Georgiani, Ph.D., while discussing the so-called top-secret government program in an episode of the podcast American Alchemy. Georgiani claimed that he was alerted to this bug-hunting initiative by Army veteran Lynn Buchanan, who claims he was a psychic spy with the CIA's remote viewing program, which investigated whether individuals could use extrasensory perception to conduct recon on distant objects, events, or people. Georgiani said Buchanan had informed him that former CIA analyst and UAP specialist Christopher Kit Green had devised a backdoor way of accessing 23andMe and Ancestry, uber-popular sites that break down users' family trees to screen users for specific genetic variants linked to non-human beings. Green was notably part of the remote viewing program in the 1970s, but left the intelligence agency long before the founding of the DNA detective sites. Buchanan reportedly learned of this so-called campaign after being approached at a diner by three individuals claiming to be Nordics, tall, blue-eyed, blonde visitors from beyond that are said to be living covertly among us. They're just really tall, blonde, and blue-eyed. Meaning they probably are just Nordics from, like the region of Norway. Anyway, they live in small towns in the Colorado Rockies, and they pass because they look like tall Scandinavian people, Georgiani remarked to Buchanan's theory. What are the odds that they are Scandinavian? Despite President Donald Trump releasing hundreds of formerly classified files on UFOs and the hunt for alien life, the Pentagon has insisted there is no evidence of extraterrestrial existence. Buchanan added that the trio had requested his help in avoiding detection by the CIA. This alien race had allegedly traveled to our planet via an underground railroad of sorts so they could escape their tyrannical government. These alien beings supposedly procreated with humans and birthed a line of intergalactic mixed-race children, with the goal of having their future generations grow up in a free society. They said, look, our children, especially our grandchildren, have no idea where they're from, said Georgiani while describing his source's so-called close encounter. We tell them stories about how, like, their grandparents are from Sweden or whatever. They don't know. He added, we just want them to have lives of peace and liberty here in America. Wow. Buchanan said he would never submit his DNA to 23andMe because of what he had learned. In a 2023 appearance on the Through a Glass Darkly podcast, the retired Army sergeant said on the pie chart listing all the ethnicities, African American, German, etc., there's a wedge called Other, which means unknown, unidentifiable. From what I found out, there are government people who are looking into that wedge, Buchanan cautioned. Buchanan's not the first person to warn of these so-called human-alien hybrids. In a controversial study this past fall, geneticist Dr. Max Rempel asserted that aliens might have abducted us and inserted genes in human DNA, with the fallout affecting potentially millions of people. Although he said that this intergalactic DNA infusion is not necessarily a bad thing, we need to consider how much alien hybridization is healthy for the planet, and which alien races we might give priority, said Rampel. So, are we a hybrid species? Do we have hybrid aliens living amongst us, and the CIA are trying to find them through genetic databases? Are these illegal aliens from outer space? Perhaps, but maybe not.
You're listening to the Mr. Nailsin Show here on RadioMisfits.com.
Late at night, we find ourselves in the studios of KRAP-TV, home of Nightly News Nightly, and we are now within the personal office of its top anchorman, Richard Shakeshaft.
No, you're absolutely certain, Captain Thighs, that you've got everything covered. I mean, we're getting awfully close to midnight.
Absolutely. Shakeshaft, I've got this one locked down tight. Your family have been removed to an undisclosed location. Your home is completely under the eyes of several of my finest officers. My other finest officers are right here in the KRAP building. Everything is, like I said, locked down tight. If this Exterminator idiot tries to flush this building with gas, he's going to find it's not going to go anywhere. This is why everything's so damn stuffy in here, is we've sealed up every vent here for the air condition and, of course, shut it down. Now, I've got to go coordinate with my men, but, of course, Officer Smith here is going to stay with you in your office, which is probably the most secure room in the entire building.
Well, Captain Thighs, I appreciate the efforts, of course, but you guys have tried to prevent other killings before, and those victims have all fallen dead.
True, but we learned from those mistakes. And anyway, we're going to get this guy. Remember the old adage, there's a first time for everything.
Well, speaking of time, have you noticed? It's almost midnight. I'm practically out of it.
Well, look on the bright side, Shakeshaft. The good news here is this will soon be all over.
Well, the way I see it, this could be a good news, bad news situation. Like, what's the bad news?
All right now, Shakeshaft, what's that noise?
Captain Thighs, some of the guys outside said they spotted the bugmobile.
What the hell? Damn it. All right, let's go check it out. Smith, you stay with Shakeshaft. All right, let's go.
Oh, no. All those rumors about Bugman being in cahoots with the Exterminator must be true. Oh, no. Oh, damn it. I can't deal with the stress. Hang on a minute. I got to step into the washroom and put some water on my face. Oh, God. I really got to calm down. What the hell? Oh, my God. There's a dead police officer in the bathroom. But wait a minute. It's only you and Captain Thighs have been in my office. How did this police officer get in here? The only one who got into my office before me and Thighs was you, Officer Smith.
There's just no getting one over a shrewd journalist like you, Shakeshaft.
What? You're not Officer Smith!
Suddenly, the police officer left behind to guard Richard Shakeshaft suddenly pulls at his face, revealing it to be a rubber mask. And once removed, it exposes the skull-like face of the Exterminator. That's right, Shakeshaft. No, I'm not the late Officer Smith, who, as you have observed, has taken a powder permanently. But he won't be alone for long, Shakeshaft, as you will soon be joining him.
No, don't kill me. I mean, you're obviously got a lot of grievances and some sort of message you want to send, and I can give you the full exclusive right here on Nightly News Nightly.
Well, imagine me on TV. Oh, wait, I don't have to imagine it, because I've been on there several times because I know how to hack your broadcast to put out, you know what? My message. I don't need you, Shakeshaft, and frankly, I'm insulted that you thought I ever would.
Oh, God, no.
You sitting there, pompous and arrogant, calling me the coward? Well, look at you now, quivering and shivering and
I'm sorry.
begging, and... Oh, my God, did you just piss your pants? No surprise there, you sniveling little worm. What the hell, damn it? What the hell is that? Of course, Bugman.
No, don't kill me.
Now shut up, Shakeshaft. That's not my gas. It's some sort of ploy by Bugman. If it were my gas, you'd be dead already. What the hell is this game? It doesn't appear to be any kind of narcotic of any sort. What the hell is this?
Whoa, Richard Shakeshaft, in person.
Who are you?
Brenner, how the hell did you get in here?
Like this.
Holy shit, how does that little idiot do that? Wait a minute. He took Shakeshaft with him this time.
What the hell just happened?
I got the power to teleport and stuff. Means I can jump up with the
Oh, God.
Huh. Yeah, you know what? I ain't never done
on?
this with someone else. I guess it kind of does mess with your guts a
Well,
bit.
thank God the toilet was nearby. Wait a minute. This is my private washroom adjacent to
Yeah,
my
there's
office.
a dead body in here.
You stupid idiots, thought you could hide in the bathroom? Well, I've got you rats cornered now.
Oh no, is this the end for Critter and Richard Shakeshaft? Find out in the next exciting episode of Bugman.
Bugman was written, produced, and performed by me, Douglas Nailsin. Music came courtesy of Kevin MacLeod and other public domain sources. There's a new drug on the street. What do we got?
Junkies dropping like flies.
So, I was, a 9-to-5er, pushing poo, when I thought, hey, there's gotta be another way. I can't stop, man. This crack's so whack.
Don't be a pussy. Crack is crack.
No, man. Once you've had plumber's crack, you never go back.
Plumber's crack. He was a mild-mannered plumber, but behind the scenes, he was a drug lord puppet master of the mean streets of Philadelphia.
So, I had all this coke and I thought, hey, let's see what some Drano will do.
My God, the whole city has become a turd stuck between the cheeks of plumber's crack.
I'll suck your dick. I'll eat your ass. I'll swallow your hairy sack for some plumber's crack.
And now it's time for the Bayou Crime Report. Tension brewed over a blighted mid-city house. Then gunfire and a Tulane psychiatrist's arrest. A few weeks before gunfire rang out on Bank Street in an ongoing dispute over an abandoned house, printed messages appeared in mailboxes, asking neighbors to take action. The man in charge of the property at 3217 Banks is Mr. Carlos Liriano. The leaflets read, "Please consider reaching out to him with a text or a call to request that he do something about the fact that the property has turned into a crack house." They were signed, "A Concerned Neighbor." Residents of Banks 3200 block weren't sure who distributed the notices, but they had some ideas. Tensions had simmered for months over the blighted blue house. Since a group of gregarious day laborers moved out, a new crew had begun sheltering there. They frequently consumed drugs, relieved themselves in alleyways — doesn't the house have a bathroom? — and left trash strewn across the stoop, neighbors said. One neighbor saw a fire in the backyard. Others noticed bikes, food, and work equipment went missing. You think it's in the house? Nah, they probably sold it. The earlier crowd, they were chill, said Javiron Thompson, an IT worker whose apartment shares an alleyway with the house. But with these new faces, I come home and I wonder if my door'll be kicked in. Shit ain't sweet. Neighbors petitioned the city for help, but little change. One of the persistent complainers was a psychiatrist and Tulane medical school professor named Bruce Lovelace, who lives in an elegant bungalow across from the house. Tensions over what 7 blocks of residents agreed was a deepening crisis inside the house boiled over around 10:30 p.m. Neighbors heard yelling outside, followed by a single gunshot, then screams for help. A bloodied man staggered up the sidewalk. Neighbors saw windows in the bungalow go dark. An onlooker dashed out and strapped a makeshift tourniquet around the man's wound before an ambulance took him to University Medical Center. Police arrived within minutes and surrounded the bungalow. Hours later, they led Lovelace out in handcuffs, arresting him on counts of aggravated battery and illegal use of a firearm. Inside, detectives found a loaded pistol with a spent casing in the chamber. Questions about what led to the violence have reverberated along the block since Lovelace's arrest. Residents are unsure what's next for the troubled property, whose plight evokes a battle playing out in cities across the country, grappling with endemic issues like blight, housing shortfalls, and addiction. It probably starts there, just a guess. Perhaps most troubling to some was the allegation that a neighbor, a martial artist, and community mental health provider whose psychiatric focus was children and adolescents, had possibly resorted to what looked to them like an act of vigilantism. "We were expecting things to escalate over there," said Joy Watson, whose apartment adjoins that. Boy, everybody's adjacent to this house on the other side of Thompson's. "We thought the violence would come from within the house, not from another neighbor." Lovelace, whose records show bonded out of jail, did not respond to emails, and a person who answered his door declined to speak to a reporter. His attorney, Kevin Boucher, and the clinic where he works, Metropolitan Human Services District, did not answer multiple inquiries. A Tulane spokesman, Mike Stricker, said that Lovelace had been placed on administrative leave at the university, pending further review of the facts in this case. Police records and interviews with neighbors suggest Lovelace had grown increasingly frustrated about the property's state in the weeks before the shooting. An arrest report said he called police on the house multiple times since April. 2 neighbors said they saw Lovelace poking around on the house's front stoop. The shooting victim, a 40-year-old man, survived the encounter. He told detectives that the dispute touched off when a tall man walked up to the house and tossed a cup of gasoline on the porch. A verbal altercation turned physical, and the gun fired as they tumbled down the steps. Well, New Orleans officials have taken increasingly aggressive steps to address blight and homelessness in recent years. City crews bulldozed multiple blighted buildings. City and state agents rounded up dozens of homeless people in multiple sweeps last year, including an operation before Super Bowl 59 in which people were bused to a temporary shelter in Gentile. But in most cases, blight complaints following a painstaking review process that can take months. Compounding the challenges, New Orleans Office of Homeless Services and its budget slashed, along with some blight reduction programs amid an ongoing effort to right-size the city's budget. Oh, had its budget. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. But yeah, they had their budget slashed, and some support services have ended. Yeah. Well, how expensive is it to bulldoze that crap over, though? I just feel like this happened because these people are being pushed to the edge of society. Levon Sasko, a barista who lives in Watson's building. In the weeks before the shooting, Bank Street's residents emailed complaints about the property to City Council member Leslie Harris, whose office sent the complaints along to city code enforcement officials. A city spokesman said an inspector visited the property, but did not note significant violations. Calls to police escalated sharply in May, many apparently from Lovelace. A New Orleans police detective who drafted his arrest papers wrote that of 10 calls about 3217 banks since April, a majority came from someone named Bruce. Complicating the response, no one seemed to know who owned the decrepit house. Well, that's a problem, yeah. Liriano, the man whose phone number appeared on leaflets distributed in the neighborhood, denied owning the property in a phone interview. He said his father had owned the house, but had died. Well, then maybe you're the heir, and that it had become part of a very complicated estate dispute. I am very sorry what's going on with the neighbors and, the situation, Liriano said. Liriano blamed the police for deteriorating conditions at the property. Oh, really? Saying officers should go over there and arrest them all. So they are squatters, right? I guess. Anyway, a New Orleans Police Department spokesman said the police are one of multiple city agencies who work to address blight and unhoused subjects, possibly creating a danger to the community. Possibly? No, they do. They do. After a reporter contacted Mayor Helena Marino's office describing the shooting, a city spokesman said the city had sent a team of inspectors back to the site the same day, and that a new report would be processed expeditiously. Well, is this one going to say, it's all right? Lovelace's social media profile shows he is an enthusiastic martial artist. So it seems like he could have just used his martial arts skills instead of shooting the guy, Although even from the victim, it sounds like it was an accident as they tumbled down the stairs, the porch. I don't know. Anyway, trained at a gym in mid-city. Along Bank Street, neighbors were shocked to learn he may have wielded a gun against someone. Watson wondered why Lovelace may have taken a gun to confront a neighbor. Well, these are apparently, this is a crack house, so he had to come prepared, packing, in case things went south. And I guess they kind of did. I don't know. Now, of course, it sounds like he's become obsessive about this place more so than others. After learning what happened, she said, I was more worried about the man with the gun than what was going on in that house. Well, I guess so, as long as they just do the crack in the house. except for pissing everywhere outside. I guess the plumbing doesn't work. I don't know. The 2-story house on Bank Street has been quiet. The next day, a piece of yellow caution tape fluttered from the front railing. Polly Jones, who rents an apartment in Thompson's building, said he put it there after police removed crime scene tape in a bid to ward squatters off if they tried returning. A leafy garden planted by one of the building's recent occupants remained out front. The door hung open, and a spray-painted sign perched against a window. It read, "Move out now!" Well, boy, what a mess. You've got this decrepit property that looks really nasty, and it sounds like this psychiatrist, because he's got his nice place, and he's like, I don't want this eyesore next door to me. Good Lord, get these bums out of here, in the hopes that somebody with some sense could buy it and, renovate the place, or better yet, bulldoze it down. But nothing was going to come of that. So he storms over there with a gun. Oh yeah, and I assume he's the guy who threw the gasoline on the porch. A psychiatrist flipped his lid. So, yeah. Well, just another story about a crack house.
The Bayou Crime Report is a presentation of Nailsin Productions.
The views and opinions expressed during the Mr. Nailsin Show do not necessarily reflect those held by RadioMisfits.com. So, any complaints and or comments should be sent to @Mr. Nailsin on Twitter, where they will be promptly ignored and or blocked.